The year 1964 wasn't just about the British invasion. It was the height of the civil rights movement with the passing of the Civil Rights Act. While societal structures were being challenged, these musical gems were capturing hearts and minds. Today, we're diving into 5 classics that define this pivotal year. The Searchers emerged from Liverpool's thriving music scene in 1959, forming amid the same cultural cauldron that produced the Beatles. What many don't know is that the band was originally called The Searchers after the 1956 John Wayne Western film, which hints at their fascination with American culture. Their rise to fame wasn't without conflict, though. Original bassist Tony Jackson was forced out of the group in 1964. The same year, Needles and Pins became a hit. Reportedly because the others were jealous of his vocal abilities and popularity with female fans. This internal power struggle created lasting wounds that never fully healed. The band's sound was distinctive for featuring 2 guitarists who both sang, an uncommon approach at the time. After their initial success, the Searchers struggled to maintain their position as musical trends evolved, and they were dropped by Pi Records in 1967. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Searchers never completely disbanded, continuing to perform in various incarnations until 2019, when they officially retired after a farewell tour. For decades, they were regulars on the oldies circuit, with founding member John McNally remaining until the end, keeping the band's legacy alive despite receiving far less recognition than fellow Liverpool bands. Here's a fascinating detail that few know. Needles and Pins wasn't actually written for the Searchers. The song was written by Sonny Bono and Jack Nitschke before Sonny's famous partnership with Cher, and was first recorded by Jackie DeShannon in 1963. The Searchers heard her version on a trip to America and decided to cover it. Their rendition, with its distinctive jangling 12-string guitar sound, would go on to influence countless bands, including the Byrds, who adopted this sound and helped to create folk rock. Through this single song, the Searchers inadvertently helped to shape the direction of rock music for years to come. The Hollies formed in Manchester in 1962, named after Buddy Holly in a Christmas season conversation at the Oasis Club. The group's formation story is more calculated than many realize. Graham Nash and Alan Clark had been friends since elementary school and strategically built the band with a clear vision of success, rather than the organic coming together that many assume. Behind their clean-cut image, the Hollies were known within the industry for their cutthroat business sense, with reports suggesting they would occasionally sabotage other bands' equipment to gain advantage at shared venues. This competitive edge may explain their longevity, but it created numerous enemies in the British music scene. Their 1964 hit, Just One Look, propelled them to stardom. Showcasing the 3-part harmonies that would become their trademark. Though originally recorded by Doris Troy, the Hollies made it their own with a faster tempo and distinctively bright vocal arrangement. The band continued to evolve through the decades, weathering the departure of Graham Nash to Crosby, Stills and Nash in 1968. While Nash found greater critical acclaim in America, the Hollies continued to score hits into the 1970s, with songs like The Air That I Breathe and He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. Today, the Hollies still tour, though with only Tony Hicks and Bobby Elliott remaining from that classic lineup. In 2010, the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, an honor many critics felt was decades overdue given their influence on vocal harmony groups. The recording of Just One Look holds a secret that remained hidden for years. The distinctive tambourine part that drives the rhythm wasn't played by any member of the Hollies, but by a young session musician named Jimmy Page, who would later form Led Zeppelin. Page played on numerous sessions during this period to make ends meet, and his contribution to this Hollies hit went uncredited for decades. This connection between the clean-cut pop of the Hollies and the future of hard rock demonstrates how interconnected the British music scene was, with musicians learning from each other regardless of their public image or style. Feeling the nostalgia yet? If these songs take you back to special moments in your life, we'd love to hear about them. Drop a comment sharing your memory of where you were when you first heard these classics. And if you're enjoying this musical journey through 1964, help us reach more music lovers from our generation by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Now, let's continue with another revolutionary voice from 1964. Lulu burst onto the music scene in 1964 when she was just 15 years old, recording Shout with her backing band the Louvers. Born Marie MacDonald McLaughlin Lowry in Glasgow, Scotland, Lulu's powerful voice belied her young age and small 5 feet 1 inch tall frame. Her manager, Marion Massey, discovered her performing in a Glasgow club and convinced Lulu's parents to let her move to London to pursue music. What's rarely discussed is how exploitative her early career was. Lulu was essentially working adult hours while still legally a child, with minimal protection or education. She's spoken candidly in recent interviews about how unprepared she was for fame and how the adults around her were primarily concerned with profiting from her talent rather than her well-being. After Shout, Lulu's career expanded beyond music into television and film. She appeared in the film To Sir with Love alongside Sidney Poitier and sang its title song, which reached #1 in the U.S. Her career has proven remarkably resilient, spanning decades and including a James Bond theme song, The Man with a Golden Gun, a Eurovision win with Boom Bang a Bang, and collaborations with artists ranging from David Bowie to Take That. Now in her 70s, Lulu continues to perform and record, maintaining the distinctive voice that made her famous. In 2011, she was appointed an OBE by Queen Elizabeth II for services to music, and in more recent years has become an advocate for better treatment of young performers based on her own experiences. What many don't realize about Shout is that Lulu's version was actually a cover of the Isley Brothers' 1959 recording. However, while the Isley Brothers version had modest success in America,
you know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up.
It was Lulu who made the song an international hit and established it as a rock standard.
You know you make me wanna shout, look my hands jumping, look my heart.
The song's raw energy was unusual for a female performer at that time, especially one so young. In fact, the recording session for Shout was so intense that Lulu lost her voice completely afterward and had to be treated by a throat specialist. Her producer feared that they damaged her voice permanently, but fortunately she recovered, though she's had to be careful with her vocal technique throughout her career to avoid further damage. Elvis Presley was already a global superstar by 1964, having transformed popular music in the late 50s before his 2-year military service interrupted his career. His return to civilian life in 1960 marked a shift in his career toward movies, many of which were critically panned but commercially successful. Viva Las Vegas, both the film and its title song, represented one of the better entries in this period of his career. Behind the scenes, Elvis was growing increasingly frustrated with the formulaic movies his manager Colonel Tom Parker committed him to. Parker's control over Elvis's career has become increasingly controversial over time, with evidence suggesting he deliberately prevented Elvis from touring overseas due to Parker's own illegal immigrant status, which he feared would be discovered if he attempted to get a passport. The song Viva Las Vegas, written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann, and its energy and quality stood out among the often mediocre material Elvis was recording for his film soundtracks during this period. Elvis never performed the song live until his 1970s Las Vegas residencies, despite it becoming one of his most recognizable hits. His career would hit a low point in the late 1960s before his famous 1968 comeback special reignited public interest. Elvis's connection to Las Vegas would grow stronger over time as he performed 636 consecutive sold-out shows at the International Hotel, later the Las Vegas Hilton, between 1969 and 1976. Despite this success, these years saw his health deteriorate due to prescription drug abuse, leading to his premature death in 1977 at the age of 42. Today, Elvis remains synonymous with Las Vegas, with impersonators continuing to perform there and Viva Las Vegas serving as an unofficial anthem for the city. Few fans realize that Viva Las Vegas wasn't initially considered the standout song from the film. The movie studio and Colonel Parker favored promoting What I Say, a cover of the Ray Charles hit instead, and Viva Las Vegas was relegated to the B-side of the single. This decision meant that when radio stations began playing Viva Las Vegas more frequently than What I'd Say, the song never received a proper promotional push and didn't chart as highly as it might have otherwise. It reached only number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of Elvis's more modest hits, despite its eventual cultural staying power. This mismanagement exemplifies how business decisions often negatively impacted Elvis's musical legacy during his movie years. Jim Reeves began his career in the early 1950s, initially pursuing baseball until an injury redirected him toward music. His smooth velvet baritone helped define the Nashville sound, a more polished approach to country music that incorporated string sections and background vocals to broaden the genre's appeal. Reeves was strikingly different from the rough-edged honky-tonk singers who preceded him, creating controversy among country purists who felt he was diluting the genre's authenticity for commercial gain. This tension between tradition and evolution has repeatedly surfaced throughout country music's history, and Reeves was among the first to face serious criticism for his crossover approach. What makes I Love You Because remarkable is that it was a hit for Reeves in 1964, despite the fact that he died in a plane crash on July the 31st of that year. Reeves was piloting his own aircraft during a thunderstorm when he crashed near Nashville, Tennessee, killing both himself and his piano player. His label, RCA Victor, had a substantial backlog of unreleased Reeves recordings and continued to release new Jim Reeves songs for years after his death. His widow, Mary Reeves, carefully managed his legacy, ensuring his posthumous career remained vibrant. His music continued to chart throughout the 1960s and even into the 1970s, and he achieved tremendous international fame, particularly in South Africa, Norway, and the United Kingdom. In fact, in South Africa and the UK, his posthumous career outshone his success during his lifetime. As the calendar turned to 1965, these songs remained in the hearts of millions. They represent not just sounds, but moments in time when music helped us understand ourselves and our changing world. If you enjoyed this musical time capsule, subscribe for more journeys through the decades that shaped us. Until next time, keep those records spinning and those memories alive.